Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire. Sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, guys, what's good? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media. This is your midday Wednesday edition. And just to clarify some things, again, shout out to the Indiana people. I will have a special video for them later today. And on the front, good news, Kelsey Mitchell, she has been released from the hospital. She's doing well. She just needed some fluids. So she was cramping. So there's no external injury. She will be returning back to Indianapolis on the team medical facility, for care and everything. So that's a good news for that. She has not suffered sustaining injury. So I'm glad to hear that. So shout out to you, Money Mitch. Put him in the ditch, as Ben Daniels would say. But now on to some more astounding news. So yesterday there was a firestorm. A call for Cathy Engelbert's job. Not only once, because Cheryl Reed said there was change in leadership. I did a video of it. Somebody comment on it and say, oh, she didn't say Cathy Engelbert. But guess what? Cathy Engelbert is at the front and center of all of this right now. And coaches, players have had enough, have fed up. But is there going to be enough to get Cathy Engelbert out? And this is where I feel like Adam Silver needs to step in. He has to step in because he's the one that hired her back in 2019. He's to hire her. Now, she does answer to the owners, the board of governors, and the NBA. But still. And then an interesting article came out by Sports Business Journal that she's likely to exit as commissioner after the CBA deal. And there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on with this stuff. And I'm going to do my very best to break this down to y'all. Because I think this is going to, like I said before yesterday, this offseason is going to be one of the most pivotal offseason in WNBA history because of the CBA. And I think that everything that's surrounding the CBA has made people act a funny way, make players act a certain way, make ownership act a certain way, make the commissioner act a certain way, and everybody's saying they want power. That's the number one thing. I think everybody wants power. They want control. I think the players want to control their own destiny. The owners want to control what goes on around the league revenue-wise. Cathy Engelbert wants to be in control of everything. She wants to make people bow down to her, as she said in Napheesa Collier's statement. Now, I had listened to Money Mike Syndicate this morning, and I do want to dispute something that he said. He said that Cathy Engelbert made Caitlyn Clark. And because you give a platform to somebody, that doesn't mean they make you. That's kind of like saying you have to bow down to somebody. And I don't think that's it. Because if you go back and look at Caitlyn's endorsement deals before she even touched foot in the WNBA, she was already making money. So saying that Cathy Engelbert gave her $16 million or made her the $16 million, I think that's a false statement. I think Money Mike has a lot of knowledge and stuff like that, but I think that one statement is kind of false because I did a video yesterday on it and I showed that everything that she had accomplished before she even stepped into, she already had a Nike deal. She already had State Farm deal. She already had all of these other deals before it landed in the WNBA. It wouldn't even matter if Caitlyn Clark had went to the PGA, the LPGA. It didn't matter if she went overseas to play. It didn't matter if she went into the big three. She still would have had them deals. She was just who she was. She was that girl. So now, for Cathy Engelbert, I think, to me, I feel like she might do step down. And the reason why I say this because after I listened to some of the stuff Mike say that she wants to get this deal done. And I think her getting this deal done, because you got to remember, Cathy Engelbert was brought in by Adam Silver because the WNBA during the COVID season had an influx. They didn't know where the W was going. Now she did come in and brought it from drowning, but they didn't promote the players because the players was unwatchable because it was doing too many racial things, too many activist things, and I think some of this is on the players as well as Cathy Engelbert. And I listened to Napheesa Collier's statement yesterday. It just reminds me of like, what if she didn't get hurt? What if Napheesa Collier didn't get hurt in the playoffs? Will we hear this outcry? Will we hear this outcry? And I said it before. It's going to take one of these big name players because they don't feel like Caitlyn Clark is big enough. But we all know she's the biggest. And all the brutality that she took all season long this year and last year, nobody said nothing. Where was Napheesa Collier? Where was Angel Wilson champion for Caitlyn Clark? The stand up for Caitlyn Clark. You hear Angel Wilson last night in the post game say, "Oh, she stand by Angel Wilson," but you didn't stand up for nothing. See, people want to champion and rally behind somebody because sometimes they don't want to have the voice until something happens to them. They are comfortable at a certain level to doing what they've been doing, but when the shoe is on the other foot, then they want to come out and cry wolf. I don't even think that Napheesa Collier wanted to come out with a statement if she didn't get injured. But everybody's running around now and saying, "Oh, well, I'm glad she did this. I'm glad she did that." You got ESPN, Stephen A. calling for Cathy Engelbert's job. It's going to take more than just Napheesa Collier for her to get Cathy Engelbert's job. And the reason why I say that, because I'm about to show you. I'm not saying that it can't be, but I'm going to show you some steps that is what it's going to take and how it's going to go down for her to be removed. Cathy Engelbert has a lot of power. She has a lot of power. It's just like Roger Goodell in the NFL. There was years that they was calling for his job, but certain owners liked him. Certain owners didn't like him. But guess what? He kept getting extension after extension, the extension. And now you see where the NFL's at, and he's still there. I think his next time he doesn't get extension, I think he moves on. He's been there for a long time. He has made money with the NFL. Now, can I see Cathy Engelbert standing that long? I don't know. I don't know. Could Adam Silver have somebody else to replace her? I don't know. But I'm gonna show you some stuff real quick because one thing I do a lot of research. I do a lot of research. So this is one right here, and it says Adam Silver will remove Cathy Engelbert based on the grounds such as neglect of duty, poor governance, mismanagement of the league's integrity, and a toxic and unsafe work environment for players, as outlined in a recent player statement on the ongoing controversy. While the ability to remove her isn't explicit with detail, Silver holds significant authority within the NBA structure, which oversees the WNBA and will likely act as a servant, failing that undermines the league's credibility and player welfare. And it's a reason for Cathy's removal: negligence of player safety and welfare. We already seen that, and that was going on since last year when the situation with Caitlyn Clark highlights a pattern of neglecting player safety, leading to injuries and lack of poor discipline action for harsh play for such players. Believing Cathy dismissed these concerns, and which that is one of the main reasons now, because I don't think that if Napheesa Collier had got hurt, she wouldn't have said none of this, because this should have been highlighted early in the season when Caitlyn Clark was getting hurt, when all of these injuries to the fever was going on. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff, all the rough play, all the physical contact, all the situations with the referees not calling out these behavior, not having these players fined, not having these players suspended for these physical play. All of this should have been highlighted. And then it said mismanagement of the league's integrity, criticism has arisen for allegations such as true and biased system in officiating, which that goes back to refereeing, which we seen it last night in the Fever game. Aja Wilson went to the line 26 times and Aaliyah Boston only, I think, 17 times, which players believe Engelbert failed to address damaging the league's trust. And that's another thing. Cathy Engelbert continues to ignore the situation with the refereeing. You know what I'm saying? And I do, to me personally, I do think she's going to step away. I think she is. I think she wants to get the CBA done, and whatever deal she strike out with the players and get the deal done. And then again, she might not leave because she has all of these teams. You already seen the situation with them kind of controlling, trying to get Connecticut not to sell to certain owners like Boston and Milwaukee, and they want to keep it in Hartford and all of this stuff. And they stop in sales for a team that on the Mahogany Tribe team to sell. So it's so many different things that's coming up over this league, and Cathy Engelbert is at the center of it. Lack of leadership and accountability. Players like Napheesa Collier has publicly accused Cathy Engelbert lack of accountability and failure to act decisive, created to toxic, and disconnect between leadership and players. Failed to support the league stars. Concern has been risen that Engelbert did not adequately appreciate or support stars like Caitlyn Clark impacting the league efforts to build a moment. And this go back to where we was talking about the Rookie of the Year situation. Caitlyn Clark got a phone call for her Rookie of the Year, but she flew out to the Jennifer Hudson show and presented presented Paige Beckers with her award. She was gracious to Paige Beckers coming into the league by ignoring the impact that Caitlyn Clark has set forth into this league. And then saying that Caitlyn Clark should be grateful and the players should be bound down and be grateful for what she has done for the league. That to me sounds like some kind of communist type of Hitler type of authority. And you don't need a person that thinks that way inside the WNBA. You already got enough problems with these activist players in the league as it is. And then you have the leader, the commissioner doing that. This is why I say, Adam Silver, it's time for you to step in. You have to step in and take control of this. Tell Cathy Engelbert after the CBA deal done, no, we don't need your service, because you can't fire her in the midst of CBA deal, because you will hurt the league and you will never get it done. I don't think she's going to. They're going to let her out, but I think she's, instead of firing her, I think they're going to allow her gracefully to walk away and have somebody appointed. And I do believe Adam Silver will already have somebody in place to replace her. It ain't gonna be no it ain't gonna be no player in the league. It probably might not be a former coach or player. It's gonna be somebody, because he hired her out of some business, the little business. She was a CEO for them, so it ain't like it, because I don't think he will hire somebody that's a commissioner in the W. I think we all think that certain people should be. Candace Parker, I would love to see her. Cheryl Miller, a lot of people brought up her name, but I don't think that's going to happen, because they don't want nobody to be connected to the players in the W, because the fact of the matter is it might show a little favoritism. Inadequate response of harassment and abuse. Players and the WNBA Players Association has criticized Engelbert's perceived failure to condemn racism and minority attacks on players. So, as at Silver's authority, as the commissioner of the NBA, with the NBA having oversight of the WNBA, Adam Silver has significant leadership role and power to take drastic action if he deems it necessary. That's a part. If he deems it necessary. So that does not mean because all of this stuff is coming out, he has to he will step in. We already seen how Adam Silver worked anyway for the NBA. I don't even think he's a strong commissioner. To me, if David Stern was still alive, I think David Stern would have been fired her. He would have fired her last year. he'd have fired Cathy Engelbert last year. Adam Silver, to me, I think he's a weak commissioner for the NBA as well. And I don't think to me, I don't feel like he just don't seem like the person that's just going to say, oh, I need to fire, unless pressure comes down on him drastically. Because if the outcry becomes more, and this is where I sit back with this. If Napheesa comes out, they need more players such as Fee, Bree, Asia, Caitlyn, everybody, all the coaches around league. You have to have a magnitude of outcry, because Fee wrote that statement, had that statement written, and she read it. Yeah, it highlighted what's needed to be done. Now, to me, it's the follow up. What's going to be the follow up to that? What is going to be coming forward? Is somebody else going to step up? Is somebody else going to say something? You know, would Caitlyn Clark on her exit interview prepare a statement and say something, or she said something in an article, or whatever the case may be? This is what we have to look at. It has to be a ripple effect. It has to be more players has to get involved. More players have to say something. More players have to do something else. Let me go to another one for y'all real quick. uh, mm, uh, okay, now I had this other one, and it says that does Cathy Engelbert answers to the WNBA owners? And it says, yes, she is responsible to the league owners. Her role is to respect the interests of the WNBA ownership group, and she has hired to lead the league for their benefits while the NBA owns a portion of the league. The primary owners of the WNBA team are Cathy Engelbert, direct share stakeholders. Engelbert's responsibility representing owners' interests. That's important. She has to represent the owner's interest. So whatever the owners want, she has to represent them. And that's, to me, that's the part where, regardless of what her neglect has done to the league in some form or fashion, but her representation for the owners' interest, if she's doing whatever the owners is, it's going to be hard to remove her. That's how I look at it. It's going to be hard to navigate her away from there unless Adam Silver steps in and say, "Hey, we need to remove her. These are the problems. These are the issues that these players have." And if she doesn't get fired after the CBA deal is done, and she's still the commissioner, these problems ain't gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. And what Napheesa Collier did yesterday is gonna go pretty much unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? Unless others step up. Like I said, others have to step up. Strategic leadership. She is responsible for all the strategic and direct of the league, including negotiating the media rights deal and overseeing team operations. Reporting to owners. Engelbert communicates with the ownership group, keeping them informed about the league's performance and making proposals for their consideration. Structure of the NBA ownership. Team owners. The owners are the owners of the individual WNBA teams are a significant portion of the league's ownership, and Engelbert reports to them. NBA ownership. NBA owns holds a stake in the league, making them another part of who Engelbert must answer in some capacity. So she has to answer to the owners of the WNBA, and she has to answer to the NBA ownership group as well. Investor ownership. In addition to the NBA and team owners in the league has a third ownership group investor that has contributed to the league's capital. So they have another investment group, not just solely the NBA and the owners, but they also have an outside investment group that holds a stake into the league as well. This is why it's so important for the league to continue to make money, because they have all of these people that has their hand in the pot right now, and they ain't counting on. And the reason why they brought Cathy Engelbert over, because she worked for some marketing, I guess, marketing team or whatever the case may be. So here we go. So this is the main part right here for sports. I don't know how true this is or whatever, but this came out yesterday from Sports Business Journal. And Tom Friend, whatever his name is, he put this out. And I saw on Robert Lindbergh and the Rachel Demeter and Rosie. They was all on live stream last night with Venom and Mick Talk Hoops. They was all talking about this article, and they was laughing about it because they don't think this article, to me, I guess they don't think it's factual or real. But we'll see in the coming days. And it was down and just highlight the stuff that Napheesa Collier has said and everything like this. And they said a WNBA spokesperson said Tuesday night that source comment were categorically false. Engelbert was unavailable for comment, which he did put out a weak comment, and I already went over that. Said rather Collier's statement cements Engelbert's departure is unclear, and sources say her exit is not imminent, and that it is possible she could decide to leave on her own. Now, seeing when they say you decide to leave on your own, you already been talked to. You already been brought to the office. You already been sat down. They say, hey, look, this is the deal. We need you to get this CBA deal done. Then you can walk away. We don't have to fire you. We need to put somebody in place to temper down this stuff with the league. Now, if they don't do that and this stuff comes in, because then Cathy Engelbert is going to continue to do the same stuff, and it's not going to be taken serious, and people are going to continue to lose interest and turn away from it. The WNBA just niched 11-year deal with TNT for broadcasting WNBA games in the upcoming season. So all of these media right deals is boosting the league revenue a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, don't be surprised if somebody like Netflix get into it too, because Netflix is already showing interest in sports. So just something to look at. And if they feel like Cathy Engelbert is doing this and nailing all of these media rights deals down and stuff like that, they'll probably keep her around for business purposes and tell her, say, we move you to another position. We let somebody else be the overseer. So we'll see. Sources also said any move by Engelbert would be unrelated to the league's present CBA standoff with the players' union. Although inside the believe there has been chronic distrust between Engelbert and her I guess I can't pronounce that word, but I'm gonna skip it. Since a September 24th interview on CNBC in which she failed to denounce hate speech directed at players on social media. She instead pointed to the popularity of rivalries, later apologizing to players in a group letter. She's not a people person, said another source familiar to Engelbert. That's not who she is. It it has been an issue before CBA negotiations. I don't think she likes to interact with players too, but you saw her shaking and dancing at the All Star game with the Stud Buzz. So who knows? During her tenure, the WNBA has secured an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal. Franchise value has increased over 180% year over year, and total revenue projections reported set to 1 billion to hit 1 billion in 2025. But that did not have Collier holding back today after suffering a hard foul. And that's what I'm saying. She wouldn't have never said anything if she didn't get injured. That's just plain and simple. That to me, that's what I feel about it. Collier has began with criticism of the league officiating, but her ensured comments about Cathy's leadership style, which included phases of tone deaf and negligent, were all a rare public reboot of a city commissioner by an active player. Whether the league cares about health of the players is one thing, but also not to care about the product that we put on the floor. But the thing about it is, the product for the players have to be better too. They have to be better players. They can't be if they feel like this is what I feel like. If the players feel like it's too physical of a league, then stop being physical. Period. Stop being physical. Stop being physical. You complain about the physicality. All you got to do is stop being physical. But these players don't know how to play any other way but that style. They don't even know how to make simple layups. They don't even know how to make simple cuts. They don't even know how to make simple passes. They don't even know how to make simple screens. It's just crazy. And then their ball handling skills is really bad. They dribble high, just bounce up high. They don't know how to bounce low, can protect the ball. They have so many turnovers in the game. And on top of that, you got bad refereeing on top of that. So, and then this is Cathy Engelbert response. She said, I have the utmost respect for Napheesa Collier and all the players in the W, which that's a lie. Today, we have all worked tirelessly to transform the league. My focus remains to ensure the bright future her focus is to remain on ensure the bright future for the players in the WNBA, including collaborating with how we can continue to elevate the game. I am disheartened about how Napheesa categorized our conversation and league leadership, but even with our perspective different, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver. So it's, to me, from that last part of the sentence, it sounds like you're gonna have to do more to get her out of there. That's what it sounds like to me. Or she's going to do whatever it takes to get the CBA done, and then she goes like, "Hey, y'all can have it." But like I said before, these players and all of them, they've been doing backhand deals for a long time, and I just think now everybody wants to be controlled and do whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, so that, to me, that's about it right there. So, do I think anything gonna happen to her? Me personally, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. But I can say this: it's time for Adam Silver to step in. He needs to step in. To be honest with you, he needs to step in, because the fact of the matter is, right now, this is something that it's not going to go away. It's going to get louder and louder. And if the CBA deal gets done, we all know what it happens at the end of the month. The 31st is the deadline for this current CBA deal. And the most likely what's going to happen is they probably going to push for extension, because they're not going to take the first deal. They're going to push for extension. And once they do get a deal done, you'll find out what will happen with Cathy Engelbert at that point. And if they don't have her resign, or they don't move on for her, then guess what? The league is going to continue to roll in the influx that it is going into the next season. So let me know what you think. Should Adam Silver step in? I say yes. I do believe it's time for him to get off his soapbox, step to the league, have a meeting with Cathy Engelbert, find out what they need to do to rectify the situation. And if they hear and get with the owners and say, "Hey, look, we can't have you damaging our product." That's it. You're not helping this team. You're not helping these players. And these players, we need somebody that's going to address issues. And that's what they need to do. But the owners, they are all worried about their pockets pretty much. So they probably won't even care what Cathy Engelbert do with these players. As long as they bring in money in and she continue to put this model out for them, it wouldn't really matter. But we'll see. Like, comment, subscribe. Until the next episode, enjoy your midday Wednesday edition of Live Wire Sports Media. I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing. Live Wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying.